Hello. Welcome back to Your Soul Revolution. I have a short but sweet episode for you today. Um, it's crazy. So, I want to talk about being yourself, your purpose, which is being you. Um, I wasn't sure what I was going to talk about this week, and this all sort of fell into my lap. And um, ironically, I have. Um, Gate one in human design defined in my chart, and it's actually part of my incarnation cross. It's my unconscious sun. So a very big energy in my chart. And gate one's all about that divine creative, like naturally creative, how you show up as yourself. And it's funny because last week we talked about how to get by, how to get through the rough patches in life. And one of the things that Gate One teaches us is that creativity, being yourself, uniquely showing up as who you are isn't 100% of the time. There are times where we don't feel like ourselves. There are times where we feel off. There are times where we need rest. There are times where we don't feel creative. And I think that in these times, we tell ourselves something is wrong with us. We tell ourselves we missed something, or we took the wrong step, or we did the wrong thing, or there's something to fix, or we need to keep moving. And again, as I will keep saying, this human experience is messy. And it's in all of this that we discover even more about ourselves, that we discover deeper parts of us in the crunchy times, like I shared last week. And if you haven't listened to last week's episode, The Art of Getting By, you definitely should go listen. It's a quick episode as well. Um, but yeah, like the thing that I'm so passionate about is helping you be more you. And I'm like allergic to the way that the coaching industry got for a while, because I feel like it was so much like, great, do finish these 5 modules and you'll go from this to this, or like do these steps and then you'll be this, and follow this and copy paste, and here's another template and just fill in yours. And it makes me want to puke. And look, everyone's different. If that's your vibe, like there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not my vibe. And I think it comes from gate one in my chart. It comes from my Aquarius sun. It comes from my rebel energy. Like I am here to be the most me I can be, the craziest, wildest, most unique, mushy unicorn soul. Like I said, wild rebel soul. It's who I am. It's who I came here to be. And the amazing thing is right now with the transits, gate 8 is activated, which is sort of like the marketing PR team for gate 1. And normally I don't have that channel, but right now it's activated. And so I'm here showing up, telling you how to be more of yourself. And I think that it's uncomfortable to not have the answers. It's uncomfortable to not know the direction. It's easier to look for the steps, to look for what to do, to look for the answers. And as I've shared before, I constantly find myself wanting someone to tell me what to do, wanting someone to give me the answers. And that's part of the human experience. Like we don't like discomfort. We don't like not knowing where we're going. We don't like not being in control. But in that messy space is where the gold is where the wisdom is where our answers show up, because they're buried deep in the body. Our body already has everything it needs to guide us. And the crunchy times in life, the times where it looks like it's not working, the times where we can't figure it out, the times where we don't feel like ourselves, the times where we don't feel creative, there's something there for us to alchemize, to get us through, to show us how to be more of ourselves. And I truly believe that is how we do life. That is how we become more of ourselves. And no teacher, no guide, no guru can show you how to be more of yourself. And ironically, I was looking at Gate 51 last night. I was deep diving into my nerdiness of reading into the gene keys, um, which is tied into human design. And I was looking at Gene Key 51, and it's in the ego or heart center. Again, if you don't follow along with all of these details, you'll still appreciate the wisdom that I uncovered. So just stay along with me. So we have 9 centers, right? And the ego or heart center is just off of the G center. And along with the G center, it makes up like our heart chakra in the chakra system. So mine is open. And basically, one of the centers that is most prone to conditioning in it being an open center is Gate 51 or Gene Key 51 for me. So I was diving deep into all the things last night, reading the Gene Keys book and really trying to understand. In the Gene Keys, they talk about moving like from the shadow of that or the lowest expression to the city, which is the highest expression. And again, if you don't understand this, it's fine. Um, Basically, it's called like the way of initiative. And this really, in reading all of this last night, first of all, it definitely applies to where I find myself prone to shadows, conditioning, programming, whatever you want to call it. And the dilemma of this gate is harshness. And basically, it's all about awakening, right? And so, um, the city for this gate is awakening, which is freedom, which looks the same for all of us, right? And the shadow is agitation, which is like discomfort, which is human suffering, which again is the same for all of us. We all suffer, we all experience suffering. We all get to the point where we look around, we're like, life is hard, we're suffering, and we're like, something has to change here, right? And when we move through that, we get to this point of freedom, this place of awakening and discovering more about ourselves, being ourselves more. But this gene key is all about initiative. And to me, that's those like at bat moments. Like when shit hits the fan, what are you going to do? When you're up at the plate, what are you choosing to do? What are you bringing? What attitude are you bringing? What mindset are you bringing? And that initiative is a choice, right? We can stay in our suffering. We can stay in our victim, blame the things around us, blame our circumstances, blame life, blame the universe, blame other people, and we can stay there in our suffering, which hurts, but it's also sort of comfortable because we've been there. We know what to expect. We've been hanging out, we've been living there. And in some cases, it's easier, way easier to just stay there because, like, we know what to expect. We know how to get through it. We know how to just get by. We know how to suffer in silence and just keep going. But are we going to make the choice to take initiative, to do something different, to move forward again, to choose to lean into the discomfort, to choose to alchemize the wisdom that's here for us, and to choose different? And again, our path through that initiative coming from suffering to awakening is unique. It doesn't look the same for any two people, which is why, again, when someone's like, here, complete these 5 modules from 0 to 5K or from not knowing your purpose to knowing your purpose. Like I just don't think that's how it works in life. We all have to take our own initiative and we all have to find our own way through. And that's what like Gene Key 1 is all about. That's what Gate 1 is all about, being ourselves in a way that no one else can. No one else can show us the way. Like no guide, guru can indicate the way for us. We have to find our own way. We have to find our own way through. We have to create our own path through. And I think it's even more evident. I've talked about this before. When you're an entrepreneur, when you're creating a path that no one has created before, there are no directions. But I think in any life, no matter what you're doing, no matter who you are, no matter what path you're choosing, there are no directions. It's yours to create, it's yours to choose. And that's what I'm here to do. That's what channel 1-8 is all about. Like me giving you permission to be yourself and find your own way through. And me doing that, I embody that on a cellular level. I live that. My 6 line is here showing you, leading you. I go first. I'm holding your hand. Let's walk through this together. Let's be as unique as each of us can be. Let's find our own way through our unique suffering. Again, we're not unique in suffering. Suffering is a part of the human experience, but how that suffering shows up is unique. And so our way out of it is unique. We have to decide to change, decide to call ourselves out a bit, decide to step out of victim that can be comfortable to stay in. It's comfortable to blame everyone and everything else because it's easier to just validate why we're here, but it's not going to change anything. And again, when we take that initiative, when we choose our own path, when we choose to find our way through, it gives us that deeper trust that I keep talking about. Trust in ourselves, trust in our purpose, trust in our life, trust in why we're here, trust in who we are, and trusting our own 2 feet getting us through, taking the initiative, finding our way through the suffering, and deepening our trust in ourselves, becoming more of ourself, becoming even more unique, even more silly, even more like mushy unicorn, whatever that is for you, becoming more of that in the awakening, in taking the initiative down the path that only you can create, that only you can find. And again, taking that initiative moves us out of victim, moves energy by taking the first step, even when you don't know what the next step is. You find the next step by taking the first step, by taking the initiative, by choosing different, by choosing not to stay stuck, by choosing not to play victim. And we take the initiative, we move the energy, and we start to get that creativity. We start to feel more like ourselves. And then our body is naturally going to guide us in a way that only we can. Again, we can't get the answers. We can't copy paste from someone else's life. We can't look for direction from someone else. We can't go the same way they did. We have to create our own path. And when we take the first step, the next step shows up because our body guides us down our unique path. And at times of shit hitting the fan, at times of realizing we're suffering, at times of intense change, at times of calling ourselves out, at times of owning where we are, at times of messiness, we need to come with more softness, more gentleness. We need to love ourselves. We need to move away from this harshness, which is the dilemma of this gene key, and not approach it in a way of shame and guilt and hate and anger, but we need to love ourselves for being human, for being in the suffering. How can we see it as the lesson, the guidance, the answer we need is in it? Like I said last week, we don't like sitting in it, but that's where the gold is. That's where our next step is going to come from. That's where our next answer is going to come from. That's where learning more about ourself is going to come from. In the fucking messy middle. How can we bring more compassion, more softness, more gentleness? Again, when you speak to yourself, when you talk to yourself, when you turn inwards toward yourself in that way with more gentleness, more softness, feel how your body just like loses tension. Feel how your body softens into that even more. That's how we find ourselves. That's how we find our purpose. That's how we find our light. Again, in the suffering, that's our shadow. That's our inner darkness. How we find our way through to the light, through to the awakening, is by taking the first step, by moving through it. Like I said a million times, resistance is not in the way. Resistance is the way. This is the path forward. This is the path to more of you. How can you choose to take the first step? How can you deepen your relationship with yourself? How can you get to know yourself better in these moments? Again, these moments of suffering are when we again wake up to our suffering and realize, how can we sit there? How can we come back into the body? Again, our strategy and authority in human design will guide us everywhere we need to be. If you learn nothing else, your strategy and authority will guide you in each step. We think it has to be complicated, but it's not complicated. The things that are stressing you out, that are making you worry, that are causing dis-ease and literal physical problems in the body are guiding you on your unique path. They're showing you where you're suffering. They're showing you where there's more available. They're showing you where the next step is. Again, when I was going through chronic disease, psoriasis, I that manifested in my body as psoriasis. But you better believe there was suffering before that. I just wasn't aware of it. My largest organ in my body, my skin, had to create this physical dis-ease for me to wake up to my suffering. I was not listening to my gut. I was not being myself. I was not living my life in a way that I was meant to. And so my body showed up for me. I don't see it as a wrong turn. I see it as a choice. I chose to create suffering, to awaken, to take the initiative and create my path out. There were no directions. I had to listen to myself. That's the only way. We can take inspiration from other people. The thing that we can take from other people is seeing that it's possible, seeing that there is a way out of suffering, seeing that we're not meant to suffer, seeing that there is greatness for us. But as a prescription, we can't copy paste that. We can't do exactly what someone else has done because we're not here to live their life. We're here to find our own way through. Again, coming back to gate one, it's all about our uniqueness. Like, think about the number one. It's odd. It's number one. It's about uniquely being yourself, unique creativity, unique you in a way that no one else can. So how can someone give you directions? We have to find them for ourselves. We can look for inspiration from others. We can be inspired by others being themselves. We can see the possibilities. We can see the freedom that others choose to create, but there is no path to follow. You're here to create your own. You're here to be yourself. There is no other you. And that's really what, again, this podcast is about. Your soul revolution is being uniquely you, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, because that's where it starts. Awakening from your unique suffering, the karma that was put here, the the people, circumstances, things that were put in front of you in your life for you to awaken to taking that first step, to choosing a different way. The things we suffer through show us that that's not what we're here for, that more is possible, that freedom is possible. The unique things that you suffer through are for a reason. And you're here to be that inspiration, that guidance for other people. We all have this unique combination of things that show up in our life. And how can we listen to our strategy and authority? Listen to our body and choose to take the fucking first step. Choose to know that that discomfort is a part of being human. There is no way around it. But through the discomfort is our freedom, is more of us, is more alignment, more ease, more joy. That is what we're all here for. That is my purpose, is to reflect this back to you, to show you that the way through anything is to be more of yourself, to show you that your only purpose in this life is to be fully you, unapologetically, authentically you, louder, bigger, more you. I hope that resonated so deeply. Um, if this is hitting home for you, if you're ready to become more you and to be guided, like in this episode, in a deeper way, though, in finding how to be more of yourself, watch this space. Big things are coming. Again, I'm meant to be that guide, that shining light, that lighthouse to reflect back your uniqueness, your magic. I can't give you the answers, but I know how to bring them out of you. I can't tell you what to do, but I know how to help you find more of yourself. I love you guys so much. Please share this episode if it resonated, if it hits deeply. It would mean so much to me. I'm so glad you guys are here, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now.